What's up, guys? Good morning. We got some pancakes, protein pancakes with some apples and bananas. Today's video, I want to talk about the things I would have done if I was starting to run all over again. There's a lot of mistakes I made that caused me to not improve my running right away, and also to get some injuries that occurred. I want to talk about that here soon. I want to just take you guys a little bit through my day, some working out I'm gonna go do, and then we'll go into the details of this video. So just come with me on this one. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is, before I even go run, I want to knock out some work. I am taking a lot of the people that did the Endure Games on 2 weeks ago, I think it was, which was a competition that we hosted at the gym. It was like a high rock simulation. We did some giveaways and we got people's information. So I'm putting them into this system that, let me show you. So I'm putting them into the system I use called Project Broadcast, which I get to save people's phone numbers, emails, and basically we will use this to do like text marketing campaigns, just to message people, honestly, about like a free trial, for example, and just build up some hype and some communication with them to maybe have them come in and give us a try. Sometimes we'll get leads from this, you know, whether it's people who want to sign up for the small group classes that we have or our one-on-one. So I was just putting all the information in here, and then I send out this text message to about 700 people right now, and it'll go live at 11 where it will send out. So something I'm getting done. I want to get, in general, some work done before I head out to go work out. All right, please forgive me if this video doesn't look the best, but the run ended up happening at night, and I didn't intentionally mean it to, but the way I'm doing my days is prioritize first around starting my day with the word. And usually right after that, I'll train or I'll get work done. But today was one of those days that I didn't want to leave the house until the work was done. So I made sure I pretty much cut off all the distractions I could and got all the work done before I was able to go to lunch with my friends, clients, with my wife, before I went to go train 2 one-on-one clients, friends of mine as well now. Almost all my clients, I like to call them friends because I've gotten to know them at a very deep level. And then once I was done with that, I got ready to come out here and train. It's five sets of 1 mile runs at a 9:30 pace. For some of you, that may not be, you know, super fast. That's pretty chill for some of y'all. But for somebody who's coming from strength training, weighing in at like 213 right now, it's a lot. I am 1 year in recovering from an ankle injury, and I'm really happy the fact that I'm able to run. And overall, I'm seeing progress, so I'm very excited. And I think my goal here was always to continue to push my body. You know, I've done different competitions, but more than anything, it's where my time is being dedicated. So running has always been one of those things that are challenging for me. However, I struggle because, not the running necessarily, but my goals, I always try and push myself to like
the point where sometimes I overextend myself. Like, I was coming into that half Ironman after I did my sprint try, which the bike broke down on me. But I was like, you know what, I could do it. I can commit. And then I started seeing how much time you truly need to dedicate to something like that. And yeah, that was not gonna happen. With where I am with business right now, and with where I am with life, it was just gonna be too much, to the point where I wasn't going. Don't get me wrong, there's difficulty to everything, but it was gonna be more stress on my plate than actual enjoyment from it. So all of that for me to say that the running has been going great, and preparing for a marathon, something I've never done. I've done a half. I think I've talked about this before, but you know, I'm starting for something a little bit different. It's just one discipline instead of many. And honestly, I'm not doing a whole lot of strength training right now. I fit maybe 2 upper body days, and there hasn't been a lot of leg day stuff, to be honest, because sometimes all the runs that I'm doing, my legs are destroyed. But I do plan on maybe gaining a leg day every 2 weeks. And it's not even heavy, it's just more, honestly, general strength training stuff. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. 4 weeks into this program. It's a 16-week one. I was already on a different program before that, but I didn't feel like it was enough running, because it was a mix of that and CrossFit. So I'm really happy where the way this is going right now. Yeah, that's just an update of where I am with my training and just kind of life and the way I structure my day. Maybe this can help you reflect on your day. But let's get into the topic of the video. How I would start running all over again if I was a beginner. Because I have suffered from some injuries that brought my strength training down. So let me get home and we'll get straight into that on the video.
Okay, so we're back home, got some food, showered. Now let's talk about this. So when I first started running, I was coming from a big powerlifting, strength, bodybuilding background, and immediately the ego of mine kind of took over where I wasn't as educated back then in fitness, but I simply thought if I'm willing to push myself, you know, eventually the results will come, right? At that time, I wouldn't track my time, my paces, none of that. I didn't have a smartwatch. I would just train, and I knew I needed to improve my running because at the time my goal was to go into law enforcement or the military. So I start running, right? And right away, I could just tell I am super tight. My legs are not enjoying it. Getting shin splints super easily. Even outside of the strength training and lifting that I did, I came from a swimming background. So I just didn't have anything on my feet, any consistent pounding on my feet. Sorry, my dogs are playing. And it was just horrible. But to me, it was like, well, as long as I keep pushing through the pain, you know, I'll be fine. And as time went on, I kept choosing to push myself. But I wanna show you guys, or I wanna mention this because at the time, my strength was like a big surplus, right? Like I was close to deadlifting about 600 pounds. I had squatted about 540 at the time. Building my way up to a 600, I had already bench pressed 405. So my strength was at its very peak. And then I eventually picked up on the running. And one day I decided to do a 3-mile run with a weighted vest. And I just chose to push myself. There was moments in there where I would walk, I would stop, and till I finished it, right? Next day I had a squat session. And through that squat session, as soon as I start my warm-ups, put on 1 plate, warm up 2 plates, I go down and I feel an extreme painful thing on my knee. Long story short, after that pain, my leg day was cut short. Come to find out, I had a slight tear or a micro tear in my patella tendon. It was not fun recovering from that. And ever since then, my goals have changed through the years, but even at then, my squat has not gotten back up to 540. The most I've squatted, probably 455. The goal hasn't been to improve my strength like that again, but it took me a lot of time off. It took me time from running and time from lifting. And at the time I was also preparing for a powerlifting competition. But the problem was I was just trying to do too much at once. And even the running, I was trying to do so much so fast. And that's the biggest takeaway that I'm wanting to share here, that you cannot take running and let's say your goal is to run 5 miles and expect to run 5 miles your first day. And if you do, it is not going to feel great. And more than likely, it's not a smart choice for your future, for you to continue to do that smartly. Like, you're not gonna recover well from that. You're gonna be sore for multiple days. By the time you try to do another run, you're probably still gonna be beat up from that one. So the number one thing I would do is take my time with it, and instead of aiming for miles, I would just aim for times. If I'm gonna go on a run, I would choose to say, I'm gonna aim to run for 30 minutes today, and the goal is for me to just run as best as I can, as long as I can. And if I need to walk, I'm gonna walk, and slowly build upon that, and eventually start to see the difference between you walking and the difference between you running kind of switch. Now you're walking a lot less and you're jogging, running a little bit more, and learning to listen to your body, guys. If your joints are hurting, for me, for example, I did a 7-mile run yesterday. Technically today in my workout program, there's another run for me, but my ankle is killing me. I have no business trying to do a run at that amount of pain. Now, if it's just some discomfort, some soreness, sure, you can probably push through. I've been running for a while now. But if it's a sharp pain, something that okay, this does not feel good, you should probably pause, take a rest day, do something different, hop on a bike if you still want to do cardio, go do a lifting workout, or maybe just fully rest and save it for the following day. You just need to let your body heal and recover for it to be ready to go again. Some days might be more challenging than others, so you never know how you're gonna feel. Some weeks you might have a big busy week from not just your training but from work, from your life, that week was just a big toll on you, and your body might need a little bit of more rest, and that's fine. As I've gotten older, I'm understanding the more we have to take care of ourselves to continue to do this without injuries. And because an injury, honestly, at any point in time, whether you're young or you're old, yes, as you get older, it's a little harder, but it's just another setback. And you want to do the best thing you can do to avoid setbacks. So learn to train smarter. That's the biggest two things I can give you guys. If I were to start running again, I would put my ego to the side. I was young. I was maybe 20, 21 when I started. I didn't run into my training. And from there, I've switched my trainings up through the years depending on the goal that I was chasing. But that big injury, it really downscaled, or it really put back a lot of things when it came to the strength. Whenever I would switch my training back up and chase like strength training goals, it put me back a lot of where I needed to kind of restart. And because of that first injury, there will be more injuries to come from that same knee, of other times where I would be pushing myself maybe in a different challenge. And that's the biggest thing I can give you guys here. Listen to your body and start with time instead of just thinking about miles. And before you know it, eventually in the 40 minutes that you ran, let's say you did 2 miles, 3 miles, now you're running 4 or 5 miles in those 45 minutes. Now, even if you walk some of it, now there's more running, there's more walking. A little other tip other than that is maybe get yourself one of these, a Garmin watch. I love these a lot more, or you could say any smartwatch, but I'm a big fan of Garmin watches. Ever since I stumbled across them and started using them, just in general, being able to know time, my pace that I'm at, where my heart rate is, those have been things that you learn as you go. As a beginner, they're not that important, but being able to at least pay attention to where you're at distance wise, pace wise, it can help for sure. It's not something to get completely obsessed about. Me, just in general, I love wearing a watch, but other than the pace and maybe just seeing your heart rate and keeping track of your training, that's the other thing this does really well. It tracks all your training through an app. It helps you better structure your training, because now you can remember a lot better what you did the other days. And again, this is just me mentioning stuff on getting started with running. Now, how do you prepare for a 5K or a 10K, a marathon? It's just, how do you get started running? And this is the smartest way to go about it. Other than that, simple advice, but it's stuff that will really build a foundation for you. Hope you guys like this video. I have more videos coming on these fitness topics and just honestly sharing some vlogging in there with you guys. But then there's gonna be some of just me here talking. But hope y'all liked it. Make sure you guys click on the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.